Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Victoria and this is Time and Tenderness. So it has been quite a while since I have done a sit-down talking video. We just got out of Bakeful November. I've done a couple of videos before that. I've been busy just being a mom, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a check-in with you all and make a video that has been weighing on my mind a lot lately that I just wanted to share with you. So I wanted to go over 3 ways to enhance your time at home and elevate your overall motherhood experience. So I know I have promised that this channel is not becoming a mommy channel, and I still want to keep that promise, but I still want to do every once in a while a check-in with you all and do maybe 1 or 2 mommy videos here and there. But I kind of also felt like this topic that I was exploring, there can be lessons to be learned whether you have children or you don't have children. So let's jump into it. So I've been doing this whole motherhood thing now for a whole year, and there are 3 kind of big lessons that I have learned this past year, and I wanted to share them all with you. Now, I know you're probably all rolling your eyes wondering, oh my gosh, she only has 1 kid. What does she know? And I totally get that. I know that as time goes on, as Gabriel grows, as things change, as life changes, as he enters different phases of his life, my life will need to also change. I know that. So the first point that I have learned this past year of motherhood, and even going way back to when I first became a stay-at-home wife, is to get dressed and get ready every single day. Now, like I just mentioned, this is a habit that I started well before Gabriel was even thought of or conceived. This was something I started, this was a habit I started early on in my marriage. I noticed very early on in my homemaking journey that I always felt my best when I looked my best. And even if I wasn't going out anywhere, at the moment in time in my life right now with Gabriel, we are only leaving the house maybe twice, 3 times a week at the most. But still, every single day, I do my hair, I do my makeup, and I get dressed. Now, to some people might think that this is redundant. They might rationalize, well, why do this if I'm not going to be seeing anyone important today? And I want to just say that I approach my homemaking like a career, and like one would with a career that would have a career uniform or an outfit or dress and grooming guidelines that they would stick to for their career. I kind of made myself dress and grooming guidelines that I stick to through my homemaking career. Now, as I previously mentioned that I always feel my best when I look my best, this all also ties into mental health. Now, this past March 2022, early April 2022, I was diagnosed with postpartum anxiety and depression. Now, after that diagnosis and, talking with a therapist and friends and family who were supporting me, I noticed a direct correlation between when I would get ready every day and my mental health. One of the first symptoms of depression and anxiety, just one of them, there can be many different types of symptoms, but a common one is to start to neglect your personal hygiene. Now, we are not all the same. My experience could greatly differ from your experience, but I'm just talking based on my own personal experience here. But I personally noticed that on days that my mental health was suffering, that my personal hygiene was also suffering. I was taking longer to take a shower, or I didn't take a shower, or I wasn't getting dressed, or I wasn't doing my hair and makeup. I noticed that when I was at my lowest, I also physically looked my lowest. So as I was going through therapy, on medication, and being supported by friends and family, I decided that even if I woke up one morning and I generally thought I was going to have a bad day, I was not feeling my best, I would still make it a point to take a shower and get dressed and do my hair and makeup every day. And then I would decide, am I feeling better, or was it just this I needed to do in order to feel better? And 9 times out of 10, just taking a shower alone and putting on clothes for the day did the trick to help lift my mood. So again, this first lesson of getting up and getting dressed every single day really helped both prior to parenthood and motherhood, and really helps now as I am a mother. Point number 2. Now, this one is going to be maybe a little bit of a controversial one, and that is reject the hot mess mom mentality. Now, I do want to put a little bit of a disclaimer on this. It is okay to have a hot mess day. It is okay to have a hot mess week. It is even okay to have a hot mess month. There's a truck going by. Sometimes, especially as we enter parenthood and motherhood, life throws us curveballs. Kids get sick. We get sick. We get unplanned appointments thrown into our schedules, etc. But what I am talking about here is perpetually living in the hot mess mom state. We want to avoid perpetually being in that state. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by perpetually being in the hot mess mom state? Let me give you some examples. Nowadays, society in general has become much more laid back and much more casual. And that isn't always a bad thing. However, a trend that I have been seeing in the media, in online and in online spaces, is that there are moms who have stopped caring about their appearance, stopped caring about their home's appearance, and stopped caring about their children's appearance and their routines. And there is a joke that every friend group has a hot mess mom, and that hot mess mom is the one that is always running late. She, can barely remember to put on her shoes. She always has that messy bun in her hair. Her kids are barely dressed, and she would forget her head if it wasn't attached. This is the kind of state that I'm talking about, that we want to avoid perpetually living in. I'm sorry if the camera looks a little bit different. The baby woke up while I was mid-filming, and he's awake now, so if you hear any noises, it's him. Sometimes online we see these phrases such as embrace the mess, and these are meant to be motivational quotes and motivational sayings to help us and to encourage us to live in the moment. Something I'm not really doing right now, but I did want to do my one YouTube video a week for you guys, and we'll see if we can just push through. Now, I do agree it is important to live in the moment, but we want to remember that we don't want to perpetually live in that hot mess state. And we can very easily slip into that hot mess mentality. Why? Because it's easier. As humans, we just want to do things that are easier. It's in our imperfect nature. And slipping into an easier lifestyle sometimes means slipping into laziness, which is something we always want to avoid. Now that I am a mom, everything that I do, everything that Gabriel can watch me do is a learning opportunity. And we often learn by watching and imitating. And if I want my son to grow up to be a responsible, well-rounded adult, I need to reflect those attributes at home. I need to keep a routine, keep appointments, and myself be responsible. Now, I do have the occasional hot mess day. I am not perfect. I get sick, things happen, I get curveballs thrown at me. I am not immune. What I want to be guarded against, however, is slipping into that mentality in perpetuity. Now, point number 3 piggybacks off of the last point, and I'm kind of showing it off here as well, and that is to be flexible. Gabriel is awake right now. You'll see him pop in. You already saw him already, but he's entertaining himself quietly as he does sometimes. And Layla is here too, and now that he's awake, she's excited. So I almost had to scrap filming today and just start over on another day, but I decided to push through. One big way to avoid the hot mess mom mentality is to have routines, but more specifically, to have flexible routines. Sometimes if our routines are too rigid, the moment we have a curveball thrown at us, they just completely fall apart and we immediately slip into having a hot mess day. We want to structure our routines so that they can handle curveballs. If you have trouble remembering appointments and obligations, put a calendar in your kitchen. We have a whiteboard calendar on our refrigerator so that the whole family can see, and my husband and I share a digital calendar where he can put in his appointments, I can put in my appointments, and we can help each other by reminding each other when we see these appointments pop up on the calendar. If you're worried about getting out the door in time to get to an appointment and making sure that your little one is ready, try getting ready 30 minutes earlier than you intended to. It's much nicer to have breathing room before an appointment than to be rushing out the door and possibly forgetting something important, or even maybe getting yourself hurt because you're rushing. Also, we want to learn to be flexible when it comes to our goals and expectations. Now, there is a saying people always say to new moms, and that is to say never. And I do agree that if you put your mind to something, you can 100% do whatever you put your mind to. But it is still wise to be educated about other options and other ways of doing things just in case. For instance, us personally, I always said Gabriel would never sleep in our bed. The plan was that he was going to sleep in a bassinet in our bedroom until he was 6 months old, and then he was going to move to his crib. And I was able to keep that goal until he turned about 11 months old. At about 11 months old, this little guy hit a really hard growth spurt, and he was having trouble sleeping, and therefore I was having trouble sleeping, and I was getting up almost every hour with him. And it reached a point where it was just unsafe for me because of how little sleep I was running on. It was affecting my mental health. I was very angry because I was not getting any sleep. So that was the time I decided I needed to be a little flexible. Safety became a huge issue because, as you know, if you're running on zero sleep, you know, things happen with your mind and you get sloppy with things, and sleep is super important. So ultimately, we brought this little guy into bed with us. I felt confident in doing this because, one, he was getting very close to turning 1 year old. 2, I had already previously educated myself on the Safe Sleep 7 when it comes to bed sharing. And 3, I had an open conversation with my husband about this. And something key to remember about flexibility is flexibility does not mean failure. Flexibility means you are adapting. And I want you all to remember that. Well guys, I really hoped you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a comment down in the comment section below. I hope to have new content, new exciting things for you guys in the coming new year, as I have so many new goals for online content creation, new things, and I want to break out and discuss and do. So we shall see how that all goes. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye!